Hi, this is JSMWNYC Comics and Stuff again with a video for customers as a customer request. I have a timeline of, say, 20 to 30 comics that are candidates for CGC submissions. And I don't like to handle them. Most people who collect comics, after you read them, I read them as a child, you put them in Mylar bags, you bag and board them. And you can watch videos on YouTube or other websites, social media, to find out how to take care of your comics. But that's all I did as a child. Was if I bought something at Funny Business, or there was West Side Comics, there was another comic store that's still here today, Forbidden Planet. But those were really the three comic stores that I knew as a child growing up. And most of my allowance from my dad, who's a retired Navy officer and lawyer, it was very small. It was $10 to $20 a week, but I would spend a lot of it at the comic shop when I was younger. They were pretty nice to me. If you went to Funny Business, you walked in and Roger was there smoking a cigar. He liked smoking cigars. It's like a chain smoker. So it was like entering a dragon's lair. It smelled like cigars, the entire store. And they had all the latest comics stacked right there for you to pick up. They weren't even in like little bins. They were in stacks. And he had some glass cases with baseball cards and other memorabilia. But it was really the comics that mostly I was interested in. I was a big Little League baseball player, but when I went into that store, it was to find the latest Marvel comics. They came out in cycles weekly. So say like the third week you'd go get X-Men or whatever it was. Or the second week you'd go get Fantastic Four, etc. So most of the major titles. I looked into DC and some of the other independent comics, but mostly I was reading classic Marvel titles. Then on the wall, bagged and boarded, he'd have comics for $5 or $10. Remember, comics were like under $1. Or he'd have a comic for $15. And I don't think I ever spent more on a comic than $15. I never bought a comic for $20 or $50. But this is, I'm going to handle these selections here just as folks were like, well, you have a photo. First of all, is it a real photo? Is this your real personal collection? And, what condition is it really in? Are all the pages there? Is there any graffiti on it? Any writings? Any foreign substances? Water damage, coffee damage, doodles, sketches, traces over it where they, you trace over a comic and then it's like imprinted with like a ballpoint pen. Like those things damage the value of comics. Any clippings, sometimes folks clip stuff and then they make like a photo montage for their comics, or they put it in like a yearbook photo for school for fun or something, or they make some image for a birthday card or for a friend. So here we go. This is a rough timeline starting in the 1950s with this Walt Disney comic that I bought online. Again, most of these are from my personal collection. I do approach dealers in New York City on the street with long boxes. There are some amazing salesmen on the street who not only buy long boxes from around the country and from auctions, but used to own comic stores, but now they also deal on the street. So you walk by like 14th Street and there's, what's his name? I can't remember his name now. It's not Dan. It'll come to me. I just got his card. Or you walk along 17th Street and there's Joe and Gary up on 40th Street. On 14th Street is, come on, derby hat. Really good guy, Irishman. What's his name? Can't remember right now. It's a traditional name. Anyway, he has an unbelievable collection of comics. He's been doing this a long time and used to have a brick and mortar store. So here we go, starting with Walt Disney Comics. Here's Donald Duck. Again, I don't even like handling them. With Huey, Dewey, and Louie. You can see there is some type of damage on that corner, but and ticks on the spine. But from the 1950s, an ad for Wheaties. All the pages are intact, as you can see here. The comic, which again, it's a 10-cent comic. There's Peter Pan. You can see that other than the lower right corner that has a small watermark damage, there's no damage to It looks like it guest stars even Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Porky Pig, Pluto, classic comic of Walt Disney from 1953. Did I do that right? I'm gonna have to do that again. So here's Walt Disney, 1953, and you can see that it's very good cover. There is a water damage mark on the lower right, but if you go through the comic, no pages are missing, no pages are damaged on the cells, and it's guest starring Huey, Dewey, and Louie, as well as Mickey Mouse, Porky Pig. There's Pluto, if you know the Disney characters. There's his mom, Donald Duck, and the stories are all intact. Oh my God, are you kidding me? The staples are still good. You can see there's some tick marks on the spine, but the staples are still intact. You gotta be really careful handling these. And on the back is a Wheaties ad. So that is from 1953. I'm gonna put them on the side as I go over them. Again, like I said, I don't like handling these. Here we go with some really key issue Fantastic Fours. Here is Fantastic Four number 17, Doctor Doom. You can see the cover. There's a small fold in the center, but it's still in good shape. It only has like a light, like you could touch that up with like a restorer if you like. In the clutches of Doctor Doom, the corners are still pretty good, small folds, but in the spine, you can see the condition of the staples from this old comic from the early 60s. Again, when I buy comics and I collect, all the pages are intact. These staples are a bit loose. You can see here's the center of it. No, both staples are still intact. No pages have any damage. No cells are drawn over. There's no ink stains. And you can see the back cover. There's a small piece missing. But again, for this Silver Age comic, this is an amazing Fantastic Four number 17. Graded, holding it right here, maybe a 3 or 3.5. Okay, that's my estimation if I were to submit it, but it's FF number 17. I bought another copy of FF number 26, better than the one I had as a child. This was one of the first Silver Age comics I bought because I love the cover when I was, I don't know, less than 10 years old. It was hanging on the wall, and I thought, I gotta buy that comic for like $10. And it was ratty. The Fantastic Four 17 I just showed was in much worse condition than that. It had folds and tears on the cover, and this copy is much, much better than the one that I had as a child. This 26. I also have one slabbed. You can see here the quality and the gloss is still there. Again, the quality of the staples. Here's the back. There's a small fold there, a small tear, but again, in a very, very good shape. All the pages, color is fine. There's no water stains or tears on any of the pages. The staples are intact. The spine is good. And there is a small tear here on this page. But other than that, this is Fantastic Four 26. Again, if I were to estimate CGC, we're looking at between like a 3 and a 4. Really good quality. You can see as I tilt it, the quality of the ink is still really wonderful on this. The gloss is still there. So if I'm being generous, like a 4 or 4.5 is my estimate. Okay, next one is Fantastic Four number 29. Again, you can see the gloss on this copy that I've had since childhood. A few tick marks along the spine, but excellent staples. I remember when I bought these these are in pretty good condition for such old comics, right? Comics that are over 20 years old. Oh my goodness. Okay, because I'm buying them as a child in New York City. It's the 12-cent. It started on Yancey Street. If we go through the comic, these pages are excellent. And it's had 1 or 2 reads through. There's very little even separation of the pages. And it has that, although they're a bit yellowed, like newspaper over the years, this is a really pristine copy of number 29 from start to finish. Okay, so again, look at the gloss, look at the corners, the spine has a few ticks. Again, I would say between pressed and cleaned, between a 5 and a 6 on this. And this is number 29. Okay, and I've kept all these years. I don't like handling these. Okay, it makes me nervous. All right, the next one, Fantastic Four number 31. Again, I've had it since childhood and read through it and bagged it. You can see that there is some wear on the spine, but that still has all of the ink and gloss. There's no damage to the front cover, as well as the back cover. Look at how bright and how glossy that back cover is. It's not even pressed and cleaned yet. And this was the Mole Man issue, number 31. And as you can see with the pages, the top staple is a little loose, but the pages themselves still have amazing color. And it's had 1 or 2 readings through. And you can see from start to finish, again, being very careful with handling this, from start to finish, this old comic, it says the year in the front, 655 Madison Avenue, New York City, October 1964, is really in remarkable shape. Look at the gloss and the color still to this day. Okay, so again, like although the top staple is a little loose there, again, estimating this to be about a 5 to 6 for Fantastic Four 31. Again, these are my raw comics from childhood. Okay, next one. Fantastic Four Submariner. This, holding it in my hand, feels like an 8 without inspection. Like, it feels like almost brand new. Okay? And if you look at the cover, all the color is there. If I tilt it at an angle, you can see there are no folds or rips. You can see the way the light shines off of it. The spine is really in excellent state near mint. There is a small fold in this corner. That's it. The back as well. You can see the gloss, that there's no tears or rips. And it's a really nice gloss on the back as well. Again, flipping through the comic from front to back, the pages have had only 1 or 2 readings straight through. All of the color is intact and near mint. The entire storyline from front page to back page of Prince Namor of Atlantis. Okay, this I estimate, and you can see the gloss as I rotate it just a little bit, and I don't like handling these. I'd say is at least I'd say on that corner. If it weren't for that corner, like a 9, so maybe like a 7.5 because of that corner. 7 to 8 for Fantastic Four number 33. Look at, you can see the light reflecting off of it, and the quality of the cover. No scribbles on it. No ink problems, and I'm very proud of that issue. And I'm a big fan of Namor, Prince Namor, the Submariner. Okay, moving on, number 33. Like I'm breathing hard because I'm handling my comics, because by a customer request. Number 34. Number 34 here, A House Divided. You can look at the gloss. Look at, as I rotate it, the quality of the comics that I've kept in Mylar bags since childhood. And also the back cover, you can see the light reflecting off of it. Very little damage folds to the front or back cover, and it hasn't even been cleaned or pressed. There are some tick marks along the spine, as well as a little bit of wear on the top for some reason. I didn't pull it out of the bag roughly or anything, but not too bad. No tears or anything, but it is noticeable. You can see that from start to finish, this issue, the color is still wonderful after all these years, from beginning of story to the end. There's all the pages are intact, nothing's missing. Fantastic Four number 34, again from Funny Business from childhood. We're now up to January 1965. I'll rotate it one more time so you can see the gloss on the cover. Again, up on top, if it weren't for that, you're looking at an 8 or higher. You know what I mean? Like if it's pressed and cleaned and that works out, I would say holding it like this without pressing clean, like a 7 to 8 as well, or maybe even higher. Look at the quality of the all corners, as well as the as I rotated here. I have to shake in front of the lens so it focuses on it. Okay, that's number 34. Good gloss again. Okay. We're up to number 37. Again, I was a huge FF fan. You can see that there is some folds. It's not water damage, but from over time for this one, number 37. Okay, so there's some type of crease here, which means that like it was placed in a bag and then pushed, or like someone had it in a bag where there was pressure put on the cover. So you can see it in the gloss as I rotate. Can you see that? In the middle, like right there below Johnny Storm, you can see the crease. But there's no tear, there's no rip. The spine is quite good. The back cover is much better. But again, you can see there was some type of pressure on the bottom of the comic. So it needs to be pressed and cleaned. This is number 37. Behold a Distant Star was the title. Again, from April 1965. And like I said, when I bought these comics as a child, from start to finish, wonderful color, no damage to any of the pages in the storyline, no pages removed. And there it is, Fantastic Four. You can see the shine and glimmer still, if it weren't for the bottom half. So that damage to the bottom half of the comic would make it about a 4 to a 5. Okay, for Fantastic Four, number 37. But other than that, wonderful quality, wonderful pages, but cover damage to the bottom. Okay, moving on. Teen Titans. I was looking at an auction, and I had the Teen Titans. I collected them as a child, and after the comic convention this year, I found, hold on just a second. I found this comic, okay? The IBM Just Say No to Drugs comic from Nancy Reagan and George Perez, who's an aging comic master artist, Marvel and DC. So, being one of these sort of latchkey kids, you'd go home, you'd listen to your parents, and you're supposed to just say no to drugs and be a hero in the war against drugs. And something about it resonated with me, like, I'm going to start selling my comics because just all the stories you have being an urban child growing up, and the woes and just the frustrations of growing up as a nerdy kid. And so I started to look more into the Teen Titans title because I was like, isn't it interesting that so many artists cross over from Marvel and DC to write the public service comic for there's 3 of them. Just Say No to Drugs, that's the one from IBM. There's another one from Keebler and another one from like Coke and Pepsi. And a whole bunch of artists from the industry in the 80s agreed to do that for President Nancy Reagan. If you were a kid in the 80s, you turn on TV after school, there'd be like a 37 public service message like, please go home, be safe, just say no to drugs, you can do it, just say no. There'd be like a snake slithering on the street like a dealer, or there'd be like, the Mr. T video is actually #1 on my YouTube. Somehow that one exploded when I posted that one. Because I was thinking of this comic. And I was thinking of, just being like if I was at a party and, not smoking and drinking. It was just because I was this little nerdy kid. And I'm thankful that I completed my college education and I'm a working teacher now. So I'm not here to preach or lecture or tell you right from wrong or tell you what's good and bad. But this got me back interested into the Teen Titans, finding that public service announcement comic from the Parents Federation for Drug-Free Youth, okay, from 1983. So I went back, and I didn't know that the Teen Titans had a run from 1966, and I won it's about, 40 comics or so, and I won about 20 of them, so I picked up #1, and it's Peace Corps propaganda. I guess our beloved President Kennedy had passed away, and had left the legacy of the Peace Corps, which works around the world with governments and establishments to do peace work, be it farming, just helping keep communities, positive, supporting schools and education, math teachers, history teachers, whatever, the reading, writing, arithmetic, and it's the Peace Corps. So this is issue #1. You can see the gloss on the cover. It's quite good. There's a little bit of fold in the cover, and a little wear on the spine. So this has been read many times. But you can see the color and the storyline, which has to do with Peace Corps work all around the world, is here. It's still got wonderful color from start to finish. And here's the back cover with some type of remote control modeling track. But again, you can see the gloss. There's no damage. It's pretty See the wave of light that goes across it? So, again, Teen Titans #1 looks like about a 5, okay? Because that corner and the spine has a little bit of wear. But again, 1966. Okay, and hats off to the Teen Titans for this title being used for, I know it seems like, oh, is the government propaganda? But no, in service to the Peace Corps. I had no idea all these years. So let's learn something new this year. 2023. Wow. All right, before we go next, this is a customer request from the eBay store. And you can see here, this is number 49. It's a trilogy of issues, 48, 49, and 50, the Galactus story. And I have 49 and 50 still. I know I had 48, and it was sold or was stolen, unfortunately. Here's 49, 12-cent comic. And they were asking, look at the quality. If as I rotate it so you can see the light go over it, that there's no folds in the paper. There's a little bit of wear on top. The staples, again, there's wear on the spine, but the staples are still intact. Looks like the top staple is better than the lower staple. But this is Fantastic Four number 49. I'm going to flip it over carefully. I do not like handling these. And you can see there's a little yellowing, but as I rotate it, you can see the light going over it. There's no folds in the paper. As you see the gloss going over it, it's still quite good. All right, as for the story pages from start to finish, I have to be extremely careful with this. Polaris Nuclear Sub, if this be Doomsday. You have Galactus and the Watcher, it looks like. And Silver Surfer trying to earn his freedom. And from start to finish, the story is there. So there it is. Look at the gloss. Fantastic Four number 49. Again, due to the top having a little bit of wear, I would say that it's about a 4 to a 5. This quality, you could see the gloss. You can see all the pages are intact. No damage to the story pages. And bottom, like if you had a restorer, you want to maybe put in a new bottom staple, but it's not loose. But there's some wear there. And there it is. Fantastic Four number 49. Look at the gloss. It's just sitting right there. Okay, there's no camera tricks. That's it. Fantastic Four number 49. Also Fantastic Four number 50. Again, bought at Funny Business. This you can see the gloss. Bought at a comic book store. It's not even been pressed and cleaned. It's been sitting in a Mylar bag. A much better spine than 49. Really solid. As I hold it in my hand, again, feels like a 7 to an 8. As I hold it, flip it over, there's a little bit of yellowing on the corners of the pages, but you can see the gloss. Look at the gloss as I rotate it. It's all there. And this pages are quite good. Corners are very good. There's a tiny bit of a crease on the top corner. This is Fantastic Four number 50. Saga of the Silver Surfer. Again, the key issue. The Devourer of Worlds, Galactus storyline. This is the third part of the trilogy with Silver Surfer. From start to finish. Really a wonderful, wonderful condition comic. Bagged and boarded. I've already sold an FF 55, actually 55, which has the similar. No, because it's a battle with the Thing. The Thing's in the lower left quadrant there of the painting. This is number 50. Holding it in my hand, again, feels like a 7 to an 8 quality, if not better. I would put it at a 6.5. I'm not the one grading it, but it really is a wonderful copy as well. No damage to the pages. So between a 6.5 to a 7.5. Seriously. All right, there it is. Fantastic Four number 50. Next one, I'm selling this. I've sold one CGC and I have another copy. But this is my copy from childhood for my personal collection. And you can see the gloss. Again, it's from a comic book store. There are a few ticks on the spine. You can see it as I rotate it, that the light doesn't hit off the left side of the book with complete glossy sheerness. But the corners are really excellent. And let's look at the back side. And this is a really good back cover. Again, feels like a 7 to an 8 without opening it. Just making sure all the color and storyline, no stains, no damage to the story. This is my personal collection, number 55. Read through and just put in a Mylar bag carefully. This is due to the spine damage, I guess, from sitting in the Mylar bag. If pressed and cleaned, again, this is between a 6.5 and a 7.5. Look at the gloss as I rotate it for this old comic. I mean, that's the only look at the gloss on how really good the front and back is, except for that spine by the staples. All right, again, my interest in Teen Titans was rekindled with the community PSA comics, and I remember there were others. I remember having seen some like at the doctor's office or the dentist's office with the Teen Titans, Batman, or Spider-Man, like brush your teeth or eating healthy. And I'd like to find more of those comics where the superheroes artists, the same artists, did like comics for healthcare, comics for community, like the drug problem in the 1980s. Here, back to Teen Titans from that same lot. Number 13 is not as good a condition as number 1, by far. This is more like a 2 to 3. You can see the extensive damage here to the center, and the staples are offset just a little bit, but it's not detached. Okay, if I turn, you can see it still has some gloss, but you can see the folds and the creases in different angles here. And this is number 13. The back is a little better than the front. The gloss is nicer as I rotate around. As you can see, there is a small fold here and small tear for postage stamp trains. But all pages, again, for the Christmas story, number 13, are intact. I'm just going to go through them. None of these pages are going to fall out. The staples are still holding. But again, you have to be very careful with little comics. And that's the story here. It's been folded and there's damage to there. I would say between cleaned and pressed, you can see there's black ink also that someone has drawn over it. I would say between a 2 and a 3. Okay. For Teen Titans number 13, Merry Christmas issue from the Teen Titans. Okay, going back to Funny Business. Wow. I remember being so impressed with this cover because of the black, I guess, because Spidey was being swung around by the Kingpin. And I just thought, yeah, I want Spidey to beat the Kingpin. I don't know why. So, this is number 60. Bitter Victory. And if I remember the story correctly, he's in like an office, like some really amazing office. Goes to the Kingpin's office, and he gets very upset with him. You can see the gloss on the cover, and it's very difficult to keep black. It's not going to hide. There's no folds or creases, as you can see as I rotate it. There's a little bit of wear in the green. You can see it's a little lighter on the corner, but still a really good, clean copy. Just needs to be cleaned and pressed. This hasn't been opened in so many years. The storyline is still here. Here's the Kingpin. And yeah, I remember just something about being inside buildings and why are they fighting in the office or something like that. Amazing Spider-Man number 60, Oh Bitter Victory. All right, there it is. This and like the Hulk versus Thing, like the other ones where there's a black, that costs extra for a printer, you know, like when you're printing something in school, like being a math teacher. Like, don't waste the toner, don't waste the ink. It's so expensive. So setting up this way with the black background are also more intense to have a good black and to have it stay like that. Quite good. All right, next one. We had random Richie Rich Archie type comics as a child. So going back, I saw this Richie Rich from a street vendor, 15 cents. And spine's pretty good. Again, I was thinking of sending it in because it's a very good quality 15-cent one. There's a little bit of shift here in the spine, actually, as you can see, but really good gloss on the front and back, and all the pages are there. Again, Richie Rich, the poor little rich boy. Actually, there is a fold crease that I didn't see on the front cover going along the oil The oil guys are here. I didn't see that when I bought it. There it is, Richie Rich, an old one. Also from a more recent purchase, Peter Parker #3. I was like, I should really catch up on my Peter Parker. I don't know these artists in the storyline. Light Master #3. Again, a small fold in the corner, but excellent gloss. As you can see, no damage to the cover. And as well as the back, just needs to be cleaned. But you can see the gloss, there's no damage to the back cover. The story is great. It's newsstand, because it doesn't have the, it's newsstand 30 cents here. And again, the full story from start to finish. The color is quite wonderful and no water damage to the pages or tears or burns on the pages. Next one, we have Betty and Me #85. And also, like I liked Archie, Betty and Veronica, Jughead, and Friends. And had a few of those books, but they came and went. I didn't bag them and board them like Fantastic Four. I don't know why. I just never thought of them as professional comics. This has a little chocolate stain that can be removed by a cleaner. A little piece of chocolate on there. Popsicle. Maybe someone was eating a popsicle. Dripped on it. But that can certainly be cleaned up. You can see the gloss. This is also a good 8 or higher. All the pages are intact, no folds. Really quite a good copy of Betty and Me #85. Continuing with this, possible candidates for CGC. Richie Rich Success, 40-cent comic #93. Who You Are, Richie, 2 chocolate cash tards instead of custards. And again, excellent gloss on the cover, no folds, and the traditional sea monkeys ad on the back with the castle. And you can see that all the corners are good. A little bit of wear on the spine, but you can still see the staples intact. And the comic has no damage to the pages or writings or scribes start to finish, and has all the ads from this time period. Again, I do not like handling these old comics. This is just from 1980, so that's 43 years ago. Richie Rich Success. All right. Here, this one I also don't like handling because I think it's underestimated. It's undervalued. This is the Hobgoblin first appearance, 238, and I think that this is a key issue that everyone should hold on to. Not only that, but this is Shadows of the Past. You can see that the gloss here, really excellent shape. And back as well. Just needs to be cleaned and pressed. However, I kept my fingers crossed when I learned that there are tattoos in it. I didn't remember there being tattoos, lakeside tattoos in there. And you can see the tattoo, if we hold up to the light, is still here. I can feel the little tattoo here, like a prize in a Cracker Jack box, right? But lakeside tattoos are here. This is Spider-Man 238. Again, if I had the extra $1,000 or something, I would definitely clean and press this and hope for a 9 or better with tattoos for newsstand Spider-Man 238. All right, next we had Frank Miller, who has a weird, I don't know if he has family that's in Asia, but he does a lot of, like Ronin was his first venture into sort of Asian myths and Asian storytelling, and he's done a few others. Being half Asian, it doesn't resonate with me that well. I remember, like, after buying it, everyone was telling me, buy Ronin, but it's very violent. And I don't like violent comics usually. But I didn't find it, like, redemptive arcs in the stories for, like, Billy. It's more like he was trapped in a dystopian hell, right? And there's, like, this computer thing going on, like The Matrix. Years ago, and it's a 6-volume series. This really is in great condition. There's some wear from reading it so many times. But other than that, the covers, you can see the gloss, and I take good care of it. I had it in a Mylar bag all these years. All right, there it is. Ronin #1, clean and pressed. I'd say definitely an 8.5 or higher. I mean, you can feel it, and you can see the gloss in Ronin #1. This Thing #1 is near mint, and I remember when they started the series, and it was at the comic shop. There's a big pile of these, and I was going to buy a whole bunch of them. And then I was like, ooh, and it has Spidey in the corner. But there it is, Ben Grimm, The Thing, with his first issue. Really, I just, maybe I had more than one copy because this one is really very honestly near mint. Like a 9.96 or higher. Like, not even kidding. They're not even kidding. This is really wonderful. All the pages are intact. There's no tick marks. The corners are really pristine. That's The Thing #1. Next one here that's definitely in the high 9s. Peter Porker, The Spectacular Spider-Ham. I remember reading this several times. And starting to get the series. And it's Marvel Tales, Tails. And it was the parody way before the Marvel universe. You can see these old video games were new. Return of the Jedi. Was that 1982? Because it was 77 was the first one. Even later than 93. Return of the Jedi. The Death Star battle. But again, corners excellent, spine excellent. You can still see it says Marvel Comics Group right there. The black ink. Can you focus on that? So again, high 9s for Peter Porker, The Spectacular Spider-Ham. I thought it was a fun novelty comic. Next up, I think Marvel team-ups are underrated and would like to get more serious with them. I'd like to do a full run like I have of the What Ifs because they're similar combos. Here's Spider-Man and Daredevil. Again, a really high 9s copy. You can see the front cover in the gloss and the back cover. Again, from Funny Business. Look at that. Look at the back cover. There's Frogger. And there it is. JSM number 141, Marvel Team Up 141. Here's Amazing Spider-Man with the first black suit. 252. So nice. And you can see here, after Marvel Superhero Secret War, there's very little damage. Just needs to be cleaned and pressed. Super glossy. Perfect corners. From Funny Business. Look at the gloss. Perfect. And all the pages are intact. As you can see here. No folds or creases. High 9s on my 252. Kept all these years. Also, high 9s for Transformers #1. That started it all in the series. And you can see here, the gloss. This is really a high 9s Transformers. You can send it in for grading. Look at that. I mean, I bought it at the comic book store and just bagged it in this Mylar bag. Transformers #1 for my personal collection. I sold 1 to 4, and thank you for your purchase. Hope you're having happy holidays. Let's see. That was my second copy of #1. I did that for Spider-Man and for G.I. Joe also. I bought multiple copies when I was a child. X-Men. A little bit of tick marks, but you can see the gloss here with Sabretooth and his left cross. And can I wiggle this? A little bit of needs to be pressed and cleaned, but again, perfect gloss for the back cover. In this condition, it's about a 7.5. It could be between a 7.5 and an 8.5. Again, perfect pages, no damage. Yeah, I think cleaned and pressed, you could get 8.5 on this. I'd say between a 7.5 and an 8.5 on X-Men 222. And lastly, one of my favorite, I think, underrated comics. Look at the gloss on Usagi Yojimbo #1, my personal collection. This is Mirage. He's also with Dark Horse, Albedo, Comica. What were the other companies? And even DC. Right? Or was he with DC? Vertigo? I have to look that up. Usagi, look at the gloss. Look at the perfect art. And the back cover ad with his friends, the Ninja Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh my god, there's a fold. When did that happen? All right, so the fold might make it an 8. It's not a full paper fold, but a crease in the back from pressure. So maybe that can be pressed and cleaned and get it up to an 8.5. But there is a small crease in the back, which I did not notice. There's a crease. All right, Usagi. Pages are still white and perfect, making it an 8 to 9. Yeah, so an 8 to 9. If it can be pressed and cleaned, a 9 perhaps. But it's got this thick paper. It's thicker, a little bit thicker than normal milled paper. But that back cover, I did not notice that. One of my favorite comics, still to this day. Usagi Yojimbo, now a Netflix show. 93. All right, so there's my timeline of comics that I'm interested in, that I've kept in my personal collection. And this was by request from a customer for a Fantastic Four number 49 from the trilogy with FF and Galactus and Silver Surfer 48 to 50, the classic 3 issues. So it's a pretty good copy. Or you can see I still have some slabs at the store and some other things to sort out, but I only have so many hours in the day to do this. Hope you're having peaceful December days, and that's it for now. Just a quick look at my personal timeline candidates for CGC submission.